Hi, I'm Lily, this is Small Talk, and today we're talking about North Korea. We're drinking lemon and honey today because I'm pretty sick. So the other day there was this blockbuster summit between North Korean leader Kim Jong-un and US President Donald Trump. A few months back, Trump was calling Kim a little rocket man, and Kim was calling Trump a mentally deranged dotard. Great word, thanks Kim. And now, apparently, they're best mates. So what is North Korea? Why is everybody so scared of them? And why are these Trump-Kim talks so important? At the end of the Second World War, Korea was divided between the North, backed by the communist Soviet Russia, and the South, backed by the capitalist USA. Obviously, this division made for quite a lot of tension, as both the separate Korean governments believed they were entitled to rule the entire Korean peninsula. In 1950, war broke out between the two Koreas, but it was much more than just a border dispute. It was a global battle of ideologies, pitting the communist East against the capitalist West. After 3 years of war, a ceasefire was agreed, and a demilitarized zone, or DMZ, was established as a land buffer between the two countries. But no peace treaty was ever actually signed, so technically these two countries are still at war, and the DMZ has been a hotbed of tension over the decades. North Korea has been known to kidnap South Korean guards, who never return. And South Korea has been known to blast K-pop hits back at them. North Korea is led by a supreme leader, who has a huge cult of personality. The first leader, now pay attention, because there's a lot of Kims here, is called Kim Il-sung. He ruled over the country for 50 years, and turned it into the super secretive country we know now. When he died, his son, Kim Jong-il, took over. Now he placed more emphasis on the military. There was famine, human rights abuses, and he made a lot of enemies abroad, namely the USA. Then in 2011, his son, Kim Jong-un, took over. So now we're on the third Kim in the dynasty. The whole thing with North Korea is that it's communist. And Americans hate communists. I mean, just look at any film they've ever made. What a lot of states find worrying about it is that it's so secretive. It's like that kid in the playground that seems to hate everyone. It just plays suspiciously in the corner with firecrackers. But this time, those firecrackers are nuclear weapons. So what are these nuclear weapons about? North Korea has spent the last 70 years isolating itself from the rest of the world. Basically, its only friend is China. So its economy is in tatters and it needs foreign help to feed its own people. But no one trusts it, so no one's exactly rushing to help it. So North Korea knows that its power lies in other countries' opinion and fear of what it might do. So when North Korea needs something, it sets off rockets, which scares the living daylights out of its neighbours and the USA. Talks are called and suddenly everyone's at the table discussing what it is that North Korea wants. And it's in those talks that North Korea gets its help. Threatening force gets it leverage. Now the current leader, Kim Jong-un, he's interesting. He's young, he was educated in Switzerland, and he seems to like some Western culture. Okay, mainly basketball stars. So there's this assumption that he's the guy who will modernise and open up North Korea a bit. Now up until very recently, he seemed to continue the previous policy of investing in military power and sending aggressive signals to the rest of the world. But he has been more open than his dad and his granddad. In 2018, he became the first North Korean president to cross into the South when he met South Korean President Moon Jae-in for talks. Weeks later, he became the first North Korean president to meet with a US president when he met Donald Trump for the first time. Trump has made North Korea his #1 foreign policy priority. He's framed himself as this chief negotiator of the world. But various deals back home have fallen through. Healthcare didn't work out, and the border wall, less said about that, better. He needed a win with North Korea to maintain his reputation as a negotiator. The first talks in 2018 were big news. This was the first time in history the leaders of these two countries had met, and apparently they fell in love. The second round of talks were the other day. There was loads of hype, but it ended up being a massive anticlimax, with no agreement made about future denuclearization of the peninsula. Many blamed the US for a lack of preparation, and that's why the talks failed, because no one knew what the expectations were. Others are saying that Kim has played the US in a massive PR stunt. But what's interesting is that Trump has actually come out looking quite good in North Korean propaganda. The state-controlled media always paints horrible pictures of international leaders. But this time they've made a film about the most recent summit, and interestingly, Trump comes up, well, trumps. So the tone of this suggests that Kim is still up for making a deal. Now, good tone is one thing. Before the talks, North Korea had agreed to stop building some of its new nuclear sites. Now that those talks have fallen through, guess what? Building seems to have started again. It's also been reported that North Korea is going to start testing more rockets, which always upsets everyone, even their buddies, the Chinese. But that might not be so surprising, since I've also read that they're heading towards another food crisis. Please don't forget to subscribe.